Hey guys, it's Miss Caravelli. I just wanted to make a video to talk you guys through how to compose your first and second body paragraph. So I know every class is kind of in a different stage of this process, but at this point, everyone should already be completed with their introductory paragraphs. Let me put this back to normal. So your introductory paragraph should be done, and like I told you, you can get rid of all your highlights and all of your color coding, and just it needs to look like a regular paragraph. And as you can see, mine still says title, so I don't have a title yet, so it is completely fine if you don't have a title. So remember what I told you, you might not have a title until the very end of your essay, and that is completely fine. Okay, so let's talk about our first body paragraph, which some of you are working on. So your first body paragraph is obviously right after your intro paragraph. You should have typed, if you're working on your first body paragraph, these color codes. You should have topic sentence, then you should have citation, then commentary, citation, commentary. So guys, once you get this pattern figured out, it's going to be the same thing for your second body paragraph and your third body paragraph. So go ahead and do some color coding. So pick whatever beautiful colors you would like. So your topic sentence is going to be a color, citation is going to be a color, commentary is going to be a color, and then you're just going to repeat those colors for citation and commentary. I know you might be thinking, Miss Caravelli, why do we have to do this? But it really helps you to see how all of these things, all these parts of your paragraph work together. So just trust me. Okay, those are definitely two different shades, but we're just going to ignore that. Okay, so your topic sentence. Guys, all your topic sentence is, it's the very first sentence of each body paragraph, and it's just going to be you restating what your argument is, okay? So I'm going to look at my outline. Here is my first argument. Notice that I typed right here, body paragraph 1. My argument 1 goes along with my first body paragraph. So all I'm going to do is make this into a topic sentence. Now, some of you already have a well enough written sentence that you can literally just take what you wrote and type it word for word at your topic sentence. Now, I almost did that. I just had to add a couple things. So my argument is, social media exposes people to unrealistic images of their followers' lives. Now, that is a great sentence, but I need to add something to my sentence to tie it back to my thesis statement. Now, my thesis statement is that social media can create isolation, okay? So look what I did. So I want you to compare these two things and see so you'll understand. So this is my topic sentence, okay? And this is my argument. Look how they are very similar. They're almost the exact same. I just added social media creates isolation by exposing people to unrealistic images of their followers' lives. So guys, I literally just took that and put it there. And the next thing you need to make sure of is that your thesis statement, your first argument in your thesis statement should match up with your argument right here. So here's my thesis statement. Okay? Now look, here's my colon, and then I listed my arguments. Here is my first argument. There's my first argument. It matches up with right here, and then that's what I'm talking about in this paragraph. All of these things should match up. So if you don't have these matching up, then you need to fix it. Okay, so now I'm going to go to my color, and I'm going to highlight that my topic sentence color, okay? Whoop, what am I doing? Okay. Next, I've got to do my citation. So guys, now this is when you're going to look in your source card folder, and since you're on body paragraph 1, argument 1, you're going to find your 2 or 3 source cards. In the top left corner, they should say argument 1, paragraph 2. So find those cards. Pause the video if you need to. Then look at the back of your cards where you wrote your quotations. You are going to choose which citation you want to use first, just whichever one you want to start off with. So mine says, a study found that almost a quarter of things you see on social media are either faked or exaggerated. So that is word for word, so I put quotation marks around it. That is not me citing it. I now have to give credit to the person that wrote that or found that information. So you're going to turn your source card back over to the front. If you have an author, you're going to look at the author's last name, and you're going to put the last name in parentheses like I did right here, and then you're going to put the period after the parentheses, okay? So my author's last name was Harris, so I put it in parentheses and then my period. If you don't have an author, then you're going to look at the title of the article. You're going to put the title of the article in parentheses inside quotation marks. So let's pretend, let me get rid of this for a second. Let's pretend that I don't have an author, okay? So I've got to cite it. I'm going to look at my card and I'm going to find the title of the article. Let's pretend that it's called Social Media and Isolation. So notice a couple things. Notice that I capitalized all the important words in the title. Notice that I put quotation marks around it and it's also in parentheses, and here's my period at the end. That's all you do if you don't have an author. So I'm going to go back and finish and keep it to what it was. Now I'm going to highlight it, whatever my citation color is. It's the orange. Okay. Step 3. I've got to comment on my citation. Okay, so let me just show you this page I'm going to give you guys. Writing commentary means giving your opinion, interpretation, insight, analysis, explication, personal reaction, evaluation, or reflection about a concrete detail in an essay. You are commenting on a point you have made. So guys, remember what we talked about. If you have a commentator at a sporting event, they are just giving more insight into whatever is happening during that game or event, okay? So that's all you're doing. You're talking about what you just wrote. So I like how they put this. Writing commentary requires extra effort. Guys, this is higher order thinking, because this is not something that Ms. Garavelli can just tell you, okay, this is what you need to write. You have to think about what you just said in the previous sentence, and you've got to write about it, okay? It requires you to think. Look, it's not just me telling you that it requires you to think. This paper's telling you that too. It's okay to think. It's okay for things to be difficult, all right? You can do it. I have faith in you. So commentary requires you to think of some original things from your brain to say about your concrete detail. Here are some things you don't do. You're not going to use first-person pronouns. I, me, my, we, us. So a couple of ways you can start. Remember, we talked about some different starters. You can say, this shows that. You can use, for example, this reveals, this is why. So those are all some starters for your commentary. Now, look what I used. I said, this shows. So here's my quote. A study found that almost a quarter of things you see on social media are either faked or exaggerated. So guys, now all I'm going to do is look at what I just wrote and I'm going to comment on it. You need 1 to 2 sentences of commentary. Here is my commentary. These 2 sentences. So I'm going to highlight it. So all I said is, this shows that social media is just someone's highlight reel. They are only showing the great things that are happening in their lives. Done. All I did, talk about my quote. Now my next thing, citation again. So now if you have one more source card, you're just going to look at the back of your source card and you're going to write what you wrote or type what you wrote. So here is my next citation. Now something you should be noticing about this citation is that there are not quotation marks around it. The reason why, and make sure you highlight it, is because I paraphrased it, meaning that the idea is not mine. The idea comes from this person with the last name of Tubb, but since it did not come from my brain, I still have to cite it. So that's why I put their last name right here, but I don't have to put it in quotation marks because it's not word for word. So this is my next citation. We find ourselves comparing our lives to what we see on social media. This is an unfair comparison. Since I had an author, I just put the last name in parentheses, period after it. Okay, now look at what you do next. Commentary. So now I'm just going to look at what I wrote for my quote and I'm just going to talk about it. That's it. And then I'm done with this paragraph. So here is my commentary. People need to realize that nobody's life is perfect. You might think that some of your followers never experience any tough times, but you do not know what is really going on behind closed doors. Social media can be a great outlet as long as you remember that your life is perfect the way it is. So I'm going to highlight this, my my commentary color, which is the pink. I think I've chosen a different pink every time. That's totally fine. And I'm done with that paragraph. That's it. Now, if you are in the class that's writing body paragraph 2, guess what? It's the exact same thing, except which argument are you going to be looking at? Yes, argument 2, you are right. So let me go to show you my argument 2. So for my argument 2, I said social media allows people to connect online so they do not feel the need to connect face to face. So I'm going to make that in my topic sentence. So look, all I did, I moved down my color coding right here. And I changed my colors. You don't have to change your colors. You can keep your colors the exact same. So my topic sentence, so here it is. This should be the second reason in my thesis. It should be my second argument, and it's the beginning of my second body paragraph. Another way that social media creates isolation is by allowing people to connect online so they do not feel the need to connect face to face. Done. I literally took this and made it into a topic sentence. After that, you guessed it, citation. So get out your source cards, and you should be looking at your source cards for paragraph 3, argument 2. Turn them over, decide which one you want to start with, and then just type it. So here's my quote. It's word for word, so it's in quotation marks. I had an author, so I put the author's name, last name with a period behind it, highlighted it, done. Okay? Now I have my commentary. I had a lot of commentary for this quote. Now, I haven't finished this paragraph yet, but guess what I'm going to do next? I'm going to find my next source card, and I'm going to put my other citation. Then, you guessed it, I'm going to put commentary again. Now, the last thing I want to talk about are your persuasive cards. If you use a persuasive technique, all you're going to do is underline it. If it's also a citation, then it's also going to be highlighted, okay? Now, when you turn in your final draft of your paper next week, you're only going to have 2 things underlined. You'll get rid of all of your highlighting, okay? But if you use a persuasive technique, you're going to highlight it. You should have underline it. You should have 2 underlines in your whole essay because you have to have at least 2 persuasive techniques. I can't tell you exactly where to put your persuasive cards because it's just wherever it sounds the best. So if you have 3 cards for your second body paragraph and one of those is your persuasive card, you're just going to place it in here wherever you think that it should go, okay? I'm happy to look at it, look over it with you, but just put it where you think it makes the most sense. Okay, so if you are turning in, let me just show you. There are 2 places where you're turning information in. If you're turning in if you just had to do your first body paragraph, then there's an assignment that's titled First Body Paragraph, and you're going to change it to a PDF and turn it in there. So it's under this unit, Persuasive Writing. Find the writing section right here. Okay, so you're not worried about this. This is already done. So go down here. You should see one that says First Body Paragraph. So if you are the class that should have just written your first body paragraph, then you're going to turn it in here. If you're the class that should be on your second body paragraph, you're going to turn it in here. Okay? Same for honors. So if you have any questions, just send me an email, but hopefully this video will help it to make a little bit more sense to you, and I cannot wait to read these paragraphs.